Hello, I'm Wubben, and I'm Associate Professor of Strategic Management at Wageningen University. Actually, I'm quite thrilled that finally we have this course on vertical farming, because it's there already for quite some years, but there's a lot of scattered information. I take the business aspects, and I think I'll bring you something that adds, although it may be puzzling. Maybe for a small introduction, I'm born from horticultural area in Schravenzande, from horticultural family. And actually, I did economic studies, economics at the Erasmus University in Rotterdam. And then I became associate professor on strategic management in Wageningen. There I focused primarily on advanced management marketing, circular economy, sustainable business models, and business cases in agri-food entrepreneurship. Here you also see one of the articles, or an article that we had on vertical farming, where's the business, and what are actually the key items that around the globe, especially Europe and the USA, are the aspects considered serious and critical in vertical farming business. Here you see some of these aspects on organization, the technology, the location, the product attributes, the governance issue, what are your clients, whose ownership, key partnerships, and the enabling or non-enabling environment. Well, that's in the article, but I will dwell on what's the update on it. Actually, a key message that I would like to share with you, that vertical farming is decision making on uncertainty. I see a lot of debates or articles that are actually on optimization, but those are very restricted within certain boundaries. And actually, a business can only optimize after it has decided on all the categorical issues. Yeah, when there's a lot of experience, both qualitative and quantitative, and you're actually, well, maybe even beyond risk, but at least beyond uncertainty. There are still many unclear decisions, however, and there's a lack of experience on where is the profit pool, where is the best, what are the best technologies, how is the learning curve ending, what is the optimal scale of the different models or the different formats of vertical farming units that we have. Yes, that's very entrepreneurial, but in contrast to many other very uncertain areas, it is not yet compensated by high return on investments. So you really have to pick your dilemmas and dimensions and see how you score before just jumping into it. That's good entrepreneurship. That is what a decision maker should do. So be precise on the setting. What are the critical categorical issues? Not continuous issues, but categorical, yes, no, or that you really have to make a choice. And why, who, how, what are you doing, for whom? So you must have a business plan. Talking about business plans or business model canvas, what are actually here in this industry is very much about value capture. How do we actually create a larger margin? Yeah, how are the cost structures and the revenue streams actually create value added for us as stakeholders? And then it's often about how the resources are organized, what activities, but actually very much in a restricted set of dimensions on the value configuration as if the rest of the setting is already decided. Well, the contrary is true. You first must know what customers are we actually addressing. It's not self-evident in different countries and different customer groups, different industries that you may serve. And what makes a difference? How does the firm make a difference? What is the motivating purpose for the firm? Why are we in this business? So you need a plan, you need a strategy. What is the long-term direction of this organization? Because it probably lasts for decades. What will be that setting in the average, say 10 years from now? Okay, and backcasting, what will be the implication now? We have to make up our mind. So start with why, as Simon Sinek stated it. Why is the motivating purpose? What problems do you try to help solve? Why is this firm in existence? Hey, there's a typo there. What's the mission statement? So helping to reduce food shortages in Lagos is very different, of course, than the motivation is to reduce import dependency in Singapore or Qatar. Yeah, with the latter, prices are not an issue. But in Nigeria, yeah, that's really an urgent problem. And then just producing greens, would that actually be helpful? And they may help you locally when you do have that ambition and contribute to the society. provides safe vitamin sources in Kobe, in Japan, for instance. Yeah, that's what people appreciate. That's also what authorities appreciate. Or localize, reduce food miles in Prague, or enable the next big data cycle in the US in farming. Or, totally different, exploit the abundant water energy, the energy issues in mid-Sweden. Take benefit of at least one or two of the indicators. That is really the advantage of vertical farming. The lower water usage, the lower food miles, the lower CO2 emissions, less fertilizer use, higher productivity. Where do you allocate it for? And more specific, not societal, but at the stakeholder level, you can say, well, in this value chain of food provision, do we actually help farmers? Who's the stakeholder that we really take as our prime customer? Is that the farmer, Saturn does, or Infinite Acres? Or are we actually there to provide the processor with cheap and variable lettuce? Or for distribution centers, or Walmart, for instance. Yeah, we locate our vertical farms nearby the huge distribution centers, so with large volumes. Or is it for in-store retail units, as we see here of Invertigro, that won prizes in recent years, are helping out Woolworths getting more fresh foods in these shops? Or is it actually, and don't underestimate, institutional clients? Yeah, governments, hospitals, prisoners, I don't know, or fast food service industry. Huge volume, standard quality, not that fancy. No branding there is necessary. Totally different than other items. The same actually with restaurants and chefs, unique carving out of customer groups. And there you see, well, their marketing, the display and the marketing there is critical. Or are we actually there for social reasons, as some urban farms actually, or vertical farms, are actually there in the world? Yeah, to help out in urban agriculture for citizens, consumers. Or again, a total different orientation. Think about the ingredients that pharmaceuticals may like, or fragrances for the perfume industry. So there's a lot of key customers or stakeholders that you would like to prioritize. And then what is our specific role? With the different customer groups, we may be actually a food provider. But actually, quite a lot of the people who are active in this environment up to now are actually system providers or investors, yeah, renting out containers like freight farms. And only some are actually active as grower. And if grower, then actually they often like to develop the system. They may actually have the patent on and sell out around the globe, but not so much on being a grower themselves. We may have thereby offer growth as a service, or data analysis companies. Like in Mire, they optimize more than 200 factors in the production of the greens. Yeah, then you really may be specialized as a data analytical company. You may be a dedicated R&D research organization, education organization, or specialized on the funding, subsidies, the regulations. Yeah, what is our prime? And these slides may come actually as self-evident. Be aware, really be aware that we underestimate that if we talk about the vertical farm, are we talking about the farm? No commodity crops, no root crops, like chicory, sugar beets, no animals, no rice, soy. Yeah, even doubtful, low value vegetables, sprouts, cauliflower. Can we actually expect in vertical farming flowers and potted plants? Orchids would, I think, fit well, because that's quite industrialized in some countries like Taiwan and the Netherlands. And also medical orientation, yeah, that you develop, produce for medicine, like for cannabis, which is legalized in several countries, or lycopene or others. Flavors, taste, yeah, with grasses, saffron, or fruits, yeah, pulses and legumes doesn't seem to work well, but strawberries may fit already and some others. So actually we restrict ourselves so far to herbs, greens, lettuce, tomatoes, maybe some other related, well, you may say more salad related stuff. Is that really food? Is there not more possible? And then maybe the key underestimated issue. What are the key dependencies? We call it often risk, but they are actually really uncertainties. Yeah? What are them? Because we have seen that quite some initiatives, well, got broken down because of the prohibits, yeah, or safety issues, that suddenly a sprinkler installation was required, or the lack of an insurance company, yeah, and not being insured with such an investment, that doesn't work out. Capital costs, yeah, the capital expenditures may be very high. That may be an issue because the availability of money for this industry goes up and down, and interest rates and the timing, the time to market may be quite lengthy. Or yeah, it may be if you take a technology from the shelf, you may invest quickly. But you may also rent, of course, the containers. And then, of course, capital expenditures is lower, but your variable costs are much higher because you have your rent to pay. Key dependency, of course, in energy is now clear. Here we see the example of Infarm that had to lay off more than half of its workforce, 500 people. While actually half year earlier, they had actually got extra funds of some 600 million pounds, I think. Labor, is there enough labor? Is there enough skilled labor? Do they have the knowledge and the mentality to work in this setting? What type of clients do we have? Do we have clients? Well, for instance, Walmart, if we are optimizing along these distribution centers or with a large customer, yeah, they may enforce power. They may renegotiate prices and volumes too much, well, not fitting your capacity. Yeah, there may be a misfit. They may go bankrupt, or they may grow way quicker than you can grow. Yeah, that is the dependency that's important. And of course, the setting, the larger societal settings, political risk, lack of input availability because of import restrictions, assortment focus, yeah, versus flexibility, just a few types of greens, or try to have more variety because then you're you're more stable as a company. Yeah, you have different client groups maybe. And don't underestimate the last item, the people, planet, prosperity trade-off. We often look at prosperity, and take then the people and planet issues for granted, but don't underestimate that actually the energy dependency, for instance, the lack of naturalness are really issues that are important. Well, then long remaining list. Before actually starting to optimize, you have to know about some items that are really, you have to decide on that. Yeah, these are uncertainties. You have to make a decision, and you can't just calculate the optimal solution there. Like, for instance, on technology progress. Well, if you now source and purchase a format, a technology system, yeah, you're stuck. Yeah, maybe you should wait. Yeah, your timing should be to wait a little bit more and have some hired containers, and then commit. Or commit now because it may be cheaper, or you may be a partner in the development of a technology format. Location choices in the rural area, in industrial sites because of the resources, CO2, energy, excess heat, or in the inner city, close to that restaurant or retail outlet. What type of building? Dedicated, new, optimized buildings? Yeah, but expensive. Or repurposed clean rooms, as in Fuji in Japan. Or even multi-story car parks, as in Singapore. Yeah, that's typically could be very cheap. But yeah, of course, they have the negatives. Or do we want to use daylight? Because why would you actually exclude daylight if it's around? Difficult. And that, of course, as stated, society shifts on naturalness. Yeah, is it biological? Is it actually what we would like 10 years from now? I don't know. What are the different energy sources that will prevail? Do we have enough? Can it link up to our location? And the more business to consumer oriented we are, the larger the need for marketing budgets. Often underestimated by horticulture companies, but really don't underestimate them. For instance, in orchids, that was really a key issue. And what will be your unique selling points? What does that customer in this setting, in this country, with these produce really like? And then you can state, okay, there we become operational excellence, or we become innovative product lead, or we want to be very customer specific, Those are typical generic strategies. And only then you can prioritize efficiency in operations on optimal water, optimal light plan, etc. But recognize that I saw an entrepreneur, very first in Russia, who moved to Brazil and really took 3 years before deciding on the investment in farming, because there were too many variables open and he really wanted to settle them first. So don't underestimate all these categorical decisions that are needed before optimizing your design. Okay, well, that's it. I may have brought a lot of different dimensions, a lot of different aspects, and you may say, well, I'm puzzled. It's too complicated. But restricting yourself to the dimensions that are more knowledgeable doesn't say that these dimensions are the most important. Yeah? If your wallet is lost not near a lamppost, don't search the wallet near the lamppost, but try to find it where you've lost it and make some light there. Yeah? Try to have your categorical decision made before deciding on the optimization. Success with your design, and I look forward to hear about it.